Well, it's that time of the week again when we get to talk about brand new VR games coming out this week, new VR games coming out next week, and of course some of that juicy VR gaming news. If you enjoy these videos, please do consider smashing that like button or subscribing, as it really does help these videos out quite a bit. But before we dive into the video, I want to thank today's channel sponsor, PSVR. A massive thank you to PSVR for sponsoring today's video, and they wanted me to tell you a little bit about the PSVR C2 Plus Enhanced. Now this really does take VR to another level. You can actually walk, run, strafe, crouch, jump, sit, all in true 6-DoF movement in your favourite VR games. And right now it's available at pretty much the best price it's ever been. The Enhanced Edition also comes with some awesome upgrades like low latencies, precise tracking, and the K-Quiet tech, which cuts down the noise by almost 40%, and that makes a huge difference when you're on this thing. It works with PCVR and Quest when paired with a Nexus adapter. So however you want to play, you're covered. This thing is literally going to take you right into the game and give you more immersion than you've ever had before. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, then there are links in the description or in the pinned comments so you can go find out a little bit more about this for yourself. Again, thank you to PSVR for sponsoring today's video, and now let's dive into new VR games this week. Well, kicking things off, we have Grit and Valor 1949. Now this is a game that, well, I think it's a bit of a miss for me personally, as I don't really enjoy that sort of top-down kind of tower defense-esque sort of feeling game. But I will say, in its defense, this game is incredibly well put together, and I feel like it's been incredibly well received from people that do like this style of game. So I don't want my own personal negativity towards a game like this to stand in the way. So I'm going to say, yes, it's not for me, but damn, I think they did an incredible job of putting this together, and it's very well executed. And then on top of that, from everything I've seen from people that actually care about this style of game, there has been a lot of positivity floating around. So I will say this, if you really like the look of this, then you think this is your type of game, then I think you're going to have an incredible time, and like I said, I think they've done a good job of putting this together. Next up, we have Into Black. Now this is just an absolutely incredible game that really seemed to go under the radar when it came to its launch on Quest, and now it's just dropped on the PSVR 2 and PCVR. This is a big moment, especially for you PSVR 2 players, because, well, you don't get enough games coming out on that platform at the moment, and this one is definitely a huge win. Now you can go into this absolutely solo or as a multiplayer, so if you've got some friends you want to get together with, then this is a perfect time to jump into the game. Definitely one that I highly recommend. So if you own a Quest, a PSVR 2 or PCVR, then get this game in your bloody life and you will thank me later. VR gaming news. Kicking things off, we had Star Trek Infection VR announced to be coming this year. Now on the surface, when I very first heard this game announced, I've got to be honest with you, I was like, Star Trek and horror? Is that a match made in heaven, or is that a very big mistake? But nonetheless, after seeing the trailer and learning a bit more about this, I've actually spoken to the devs as well. I didn't get a chance to go hands-on with this because I unfortunately missed my appointment, but what I did get a chance to do is learn a little bit more about the game. So I will say this is actually looking like it could be kind of interesting. It's definitely like a first project from these guys, so I do think that maybe this could be a little rough around the edges, but again, I don't want to judge too hard until we see the final product of this and a chance when I get to go hands-on with this at least. But it's looking interesting. You're going to be playing as a Vulcan, and there is an infection on your ship, and it's taking over a bunch of people, turning them into weird-ass monsters, and you're going to be gaining powers as you go through this experience, trying to fight off the infection in yourself, whilst I assume trying to cure the infection. So it looks pretty interesting, and definitely a strange mashup, but yeah, damn, pretty cool. Next up, we have Dread Meridan. I probably said that wrong. Someone can slate me in the comments. This is a brand new horror that is going to be coming to Quest and PCVR. I'm actually looking forward to this one. It looks like it's got a touch of old school Resi, whilst also just really fulfilling that sort of like grossness of horror and a bunch of other things. Again, definitely an indie title, but man, it looks pretty interesting. The trailer for this looks pretty interesting, so I'm kind of looking forward to being able to dive into this. Next up, we have Heroes Together VR. This actually looks really interesting. This is a 4-player co-op where you can get in together, and it's kind of like dungeon crawl. It kind of feels like it has just that nice fantasy feel to things, where you're going to be fighting a bunch of creatures, you're going to be sort of upgrading your gear as you go through it, upgrading yourself as you go through it. It just looks like an all-round interesting game. Now, graphically, not the most stunning game, but that really doesn't matter once you're into these adventures. I'm sure a bunch of you will understand this, and let me know in the comments if you agree with me on this, that sometimes it really doesn't matter how a game looks, it's actually how it plays noise that really matters, and once you're in there and immersed, it stops mattering. You know, I mean, look at the state of most games on VR at this point. So, you know, it just goes to, goes to show that it really doesn't all matter about graphics. Don't get me twisted, I'd love to see incredible graphics, but nonetheless, it's not everything. Next up, we have Total Chaos, and this is actually a really, really uniquely cool looking horror game. It's come out already in flat at this point, and it's going to be getting a PCVR mod that's actually dedicated from the team that made the game, and they're going to be releasing that pretty soon. I think it's either this end of this week or maybe next week. It looks pretty cool. This is a very deep, dark horror game, and I am really interested in this. Again, I'm not a massive horror guy, but there's something about this that just drew me into the point where I want to at least explore this and try it for myself. So pretty cool, and it's really cool to see some flat developers actually thinking about VR, guys, and adding that in there. So that's why I want to talk about this today, because I want to promote that kind of thinking, as I would love to see more flat developers actually freaking start dropping a VR mod. That'd be sick. Next up, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator Jurassic World DLC. Good lord, that's one hell of a friggin' sentence. This is actually something that looks just insanely cool. Now, if you're a fan of Jurassic Park, well, I am, then this is going to be kind of like a lovely gift to be able to fly around one of the islands, and not just that, but also land there and have a look around some of the facilities, as well as flying over and witnessing some of the dinosaurs knocking around on the land, and hopefully probably trying to not crash into a friggin' pterodactyl, I don't know. But either way, this just looks really cool. I love the attention to detail for this, and I just yearn for the day that we're going to get a proper Jurassic Park game. And I know that we had the Jurassic Park VR game, but it was all cell shaded and it wasn't quite what I wanted out of a game. It was also a bit flat of a game, but I really would love to see a proper Jurassic Park game, like where you just experience like a movie style level of being in there. Oh, one day, we can only dream. Next up, we have No Man's Sky Voyager's update. Now, this is a pretty beefy update, but especially if you own a PSVR 2 and a PS5 Pro. Now, I made a video yesterday showing all of the new super sampling stuff that PlayStation's doing, and boy oh boy, it blew my mind. For you PSVR 2 owners, I hope this becomes a norm across all PSVR 2 games, because if it does, we're going to be living in an age where, honestly, it is literally punching up there with the quality of PCVR, and not just the quality of PCVR, maybe even exceeding it at some points. It really impressed me. If you want to go check it out for yourself, if you're a PSVR 2 guy, check out the video that I dropped yesterday on No Man's Sky, because I'll show you exactly what I mean in that, where the graphics are absolutely bloody insane. They've dropped so many new things in this update, including things like actually being able to spacewalk now, which is pretty nuts. Jumping out of the back of your spaceship and gliding down towards the planet. You can do all sorts of insane stuff. I'm actually thinking about jumping back in there again just to cover some of the skydiving and some of the other fun things that you can actually do in this. Maybe upload that to my second channel. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, this is a huge bloody update as always, and I still stand by what I always say with this game. It might be one of the best games that we have in the PSVR 2 library, and honestly it stands pretty tall against most of what we actually have in VR in general. This is a really true open world AAA experience. Gamescom Games. So as many of you know, I went to Gamescom last week and I got to experience a few new games. Now, I've already covered one of those on the channel, which would be Deadpool VR, and I've also got a couple more that I want to speak about today that I got a chance to go hands-on with, some of the most sort of anticipated titles that are coming up for the rest of this year. Kicking things off, let's talk about Deadpool VR. As I said, I have already done a full video on this, so if you want to see a bunch of exclusive gameplay, and if you want to just learn a little bit more about the game, then go and check out that video. But just to give you a quick synopsis of things, oh my god, I'm really freaking liking this game so far. Now, I was very dubious at the beginning when I started seeing the cell shading and all that sort of stuff. I was just like, damn man, I was hoping it would be like Batman, where you get like this realistic sort of looking game, but actually, no. After playing it, and that cell shaded sort of style and comic book feel actually really plays into the Deadpool sort of like feel of the game and the universe that you're experiencing around you. They've held no bards when it comes to actually like insane weapons, combos, swords, guns, all the standard stuff you'd expect from him. But then you also have like these super combos where you get to use things like Gambit's cards to blow people up. It just feels awesome. The combination of all those different fighting styles mixed in with just the sort of witty humor, it really adds a lot of value. So far, I'm very impressed with Deadpool VR. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Of course, right now, I've only played like this snippet of 45 minutes and another snippet of like 20 minutes before that. So I really can't say whether this is going to be the banger that I think it's going to be until I get to go hands-on, but nonetheless I do think this is something to put on your radar as something exciting. Next up, I got to go hands-on with Rhys. Now, this is actually a game that I've been super excited about, and I still am pretty excited about this, but it was very early demo that they managed to show me for this. This was something that was about 6 months old. It wasn't really representing what the final game was going to be. So I don't want to talk too much about the demo I got to experience, as it just kind of felt a little bit dry and a bit like it was still so deeply in development. Now, this has also been announced for an October launch date, and I do also have another opportunity coming up pretty soon where I'm going to go hands-on with the actual version of the game in its current state, and probably way closer to what's representation of what it's gonna be when it actually comes out. So I'm gonna hold off my opinion just a little bit in that, but I will still talk about a couple of positive things that I got to experience whilst playing the game. Now, the level I got to play was essentially like an opening level where you get to learn about the game. You got to do a bunch of cool climbing, you got to do an interesting bit of parkour, you got to learn about the bow and do a bit of shooting. I can confirm that all of these things were pretty damn fun inside of the game, and it seems like they have some cool mechanics and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to give you my full opinion once I get a chance to go properly hands-on with this very soon, so keep an eye peeled on the channel, and if you're interested in learning more about this, then make sure you subscribe, because that video is coming up pretty damn soon. Next up, I got to play Street Gods, and this is the brand new title coming from Soul Assembly, the same people that made Cabin and all the other cool MR experiences. I really like these guys' work, and man, they just did not disappoint. Now, Street Gods is a game that I wasn't necessarily like super excited for before getting the chance to play it, because I was kind of like, okay, well, you know, maybe. But man, after actually playing this has definitely stand out as probably the best thing that I played at Gamescom, which is saying a lot considering I played Deadpool and Reach. But this game just absolutely stood out to me. Now, if you're a fan of something like Until You Fall, you're going to absolutely adore this game. If you like any type of roguelike game, again, you're going to adore this game. Now, visually, this is a real mix between something like Arcane and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It just really mixed up those two styles and made it feel absolutely unique. Now, this game just feels incredible to actually get into, and you get to wield sort of Mjolnir and just beat the living snot out of all of these bad guys that are coming your way. In the demo, I got to experience a couple of different fighting styles, from using the hammer, like teleporting with the hammer, throwing it, summoning it back, beating the living crap out of people, like smacking it into the ground so that you could do like this big attack. And then on top of that, I also got to fight one of the bosses, which just felt incredible. So far, I'm very impressed with this game. It felt phenomenal to play, and the cool thing about this as well is it's kind of like one of those endless games where the idea behind this is you're going to be able to rearrange your tiles of the different cities that you're going to be able to go and sort of adventure around and fight and do all the stuff, and then you're going to be able to sort of build out your own adventure each and every time you jump into the game. This just feels to me like it's going to be an absolute winner, and I've got to say, I think they did, like, not only visually, mechanically and stylistically done a fantastic job of this game, but it just felt incredible to play. It was one of those ones where I did like a 30-minute demo and I was actually sad when I got out of it, and also it just didn't feel like 30 minutes inside of that game. It just felt like a couple of minutes had passed by and I was like, sheesh, is it already over? So yeah, this one I actually have incredibly high hopes for, so I'd definitely say put this one on your radar and be excited for it, because Street Gods is actually standing out to be something a little bit special, and also just something we haven't seen a ton of in VR so far, so I'm excited for this. Coming up next week. Starting off, we have Drakenridge, which I am looking forward to. Now, this comes from a really cool developer that's made a bunch of other cool games prior to this, and I love this guy's style and the way that he makes games. This is really a retro-themed, semi-open world VR adventure game where you just get to play as like a mage hunter tasked with, you know, doing magey stuff. Honestly, this looks so cool. I love the fantasy world that this guy has built out for this. You're going to get to explore this island and dungeons and all of these other cool sort of generated places that you get to go into. I'm just really excited for this. I feel like this is going to be an absolute banger of a game. Very excited to go hands-on with it at some point. Next up, we have Cybrid, and this is that sort of mixture between Pistol Whip and Super Hot. I know we've seen a lot of these types of games come out across time, but I'm hearing a lot of positivity about this game, as I think it's been out on PC for a minute and now it's coming over to Quest, and I think this is going to do pretty well. Fingers crossed, at least it's a decent game. I'm always dubious when I see stuff like this that just sort of borrows from too many other games to make up its game, but nonetheless, I'm definitely interested to learn a little bit more about this and experience it for myself and figure out what I think of it, at least. And last but not least, we have On Loop. Now, this is one of those games where you have to do a task and then you're gonna, you know, like kill yourself, go backwards, and that will keep repeating itself while you go back in and do the next task, so on and so on and so on, until you make a chain of yourselves doing lots of different things to be able to complete the puzzle and get on to the next one. These games can be really fun if they're executed correctly, although I will say this trailer is bloody awful, so it's really hard to tell if this game is going to be good or bad. I guess we'll learn more once it actually comes out. But nonetheless, if you're into a puzzler, this one's probably going to be kind of cool. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm very excited about the future of what we've got coming up gaming wise, and I have some pretty cool things and opportunities coming up very soon that I'm going to be able to share with you, talking about some of the games that we've spoken about inside of this video. So if you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe so that you stick around so you get to catch those videos in the future. And if you enjoyed, smash that like button. It doesn't take 2 seconds. Just get it done. It really helps me out and I'd appreciate it. Other than that, guys, let me know what you're going to be playing over the weekend in the comments down below, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.